Coninx. I don't think Graf can give much more. It's been heroic from him so far. But Matt Hauser, just as he did yesterday in the individual race, has thrown down the gauntlet and no one can live with him on the run at the moment. The only Perio wins in Hamburg. That is a phenomenal display. The Olympic champion and world champion Bogon has to settle for second. And Beth Potter, so consistent, gets another podium. The Scot gets the bronze.
G'day, mate.
Good evening. Good morning.
Sorry about the delay. Is it like 11 where you are?
Yeah, I've been relegated to the garage.
Yeah, right. Okay. Excellent. Kicked out.
If I go off the blur, this is the setup.
Was that? I see a chin-up bar.
It's bleak. It gets bleak after dark here.
Oh, that's all right, mate. That's all right. Only matters what goes through the microphone.
Exactly. The mixed relay feels like a good place to begin. And yeah, I guess just like thinking back to 2017 as the only surviving member of that outfit.
They're all still. They're just.
Sorry.
Just the other. Sorry, there's a plane going over. Can you hear that in your audio?
No, not at all.
Okay. Yeah, as a 19-year-old getting a chance to race in the World Championship relay team, because I think I was second across the line behind Jake in the Aussies in the individual race. It was my first ever race in Europe, so that was my first experience of European racing and even just experiencing like the architecture and the amazing city that Hamburg is and has to offer. And then yeah, when we won and Jake brought it home. I was just thinking, how good is this? Like, it's just going to be, 10 plus years of just winning everything now, like with Team Oz, it's going to be unreal. And then, yeah, as you said, obviously we won the 2018 Com Games and beat a really strong British team with both the Brownlees, Jess Learmonth and Vicky Holland. And, yeah, we just thought we were on top of the world. And, yeah, like everything has its, ebbs and flows. And I think, yeah, Triathlon Oz and Oz Triathlon now, as we call it, it's starting to be a bit of a rebuild period, and I think it's coming at a really important time, ahead of Brisbane 2032, and yeah, so there's some really exciting things to come, especially Wollongong World Champs this year, having racing and major racing back on Australian shores, I think is super important for that development and that revamp of Oz Tri.
It is essentially a rebuild around you, right? This is, it's that momentum that's sort of taken it through, and even bringing in like a non-Stanford, Daniel Unger is about to start as well, right? We're about to move over there.
Yeah, I mean, it's really refreshing to have, new faces and, credit to the staff that got us through that point of turmoil. And, obviously it's just down to athlete results. Like that's the one main thing, and us athletes put a lot of that on our shoulders, and so it should be. And I think for me, it took a little bit of time to realize that I kind of needed to be the one that led the charge. And I always looked at guys like Jake Birtwistle, who obviously in my period of growing up through the WTCS like senior ranks was the guy to beat, or especially in Australia. So he was certainly holding all the pressure and the pressure of the anchor leg and bringing it home for Australia and whatnot. And, I kind of thought to myself, like, oh, how do you deal with that pressure? Like, how it must be so immense to kind of have a country on your shoulders. And, for me, I'm kind of accepting that now and what it takes to do that. And, letting different things inspire me and to push me and to motivate me. Like, as you said, carrying the torch, ahead of these next two Olympic cycles and really leading the charge for Team Australia, which I'm super proud that I can be in an opportunity to do that. And yeah, as everyone says, like the rising tide, raises all ships. And I think that we've seen through results of Luke Willen and obviously I think we had all of our males in Alghero in the top 20, which hasn't happened, in a long time as well. And then obviously the mixed team relay, getting that win on the weekend, it's certainly paying dividends. I think you're leading from the front and just pushing everyone to be better as a collective. and then also like our juniors and our youth talent coming up through the ranks. Like we had Jack Woodbury and Addy win in Tizivaras in the junior Conti Cup there, and I think that's amazing, that upwards pressure, kicking us older kids into rank and putting upwards pressure on us and making sure that we're delivering as well on our professional stage is it's fantastic. And I think we came together as a collective as AusTri and kind of went through our new strategies leading into LA and then mainly Brisbane 2032, and just to have those experienced faces like Non Stanford, who's, credit to her, she's an amazing athlete and an amazing coach, and in the short tenure that she has been a coach, she's done great as well. And obviously being in a high pressure environment like the Leeds triathlon community, I think it's it'll be great to have her on our side, and obviously a world champion in her own right, an Olympian, and Daniel Unger as well as a world champion, and as a very refreshing and energetic crew. I think Sean Stevens as well, leading us as a PD, is going to be really crucial, having that background experience from Team Sky and all the unprecedented success that they had. So I think everyone's just really excited at the fact that we've got so much wind at our sails, and why can't we have our unprecedented success come Brisbane in 8 years' time. So
If Non had a pound for every time she heard someone say, "I can't get used to you wearing the yellow and green of Australia," she'd be a rich woman, I reckon, from that weekend.
Yeah, we had to kind of look after her a bit over the weekend because I think she was getting a bit of flack from the Brits. But no, she's assured us that she's not a double agent, so I guess we'll have to trust her for now.
Playing the long game.
Yeah.
Were you prepared to take on this new role, as it were, as I guess once Jake and to an extent Ash had sort of stepped aside, and you then become the most experienced, the sort of older head? Was it something that was just you sort of had this realization suddenly, okay, I'm going to be that person? Was it something that you sort of discussed with Dan Atkins, the coach, head coach?
Yeah, I think it was just about getting back to a competitive state on the world stage. Ever since 2018, I had a few injuries and whatnot, and it took me a little while through COVID to get going. And Tokyo was an experience that definitely developed me and helped me grow as an athlete and as a person. And I think once the results started coming from the hard work and a few professional choices and changes in my lifestyle, I think it naturally kind of came that way, that I was kind of leading the charge in terms of results on the world stage. And for me, that was a motivating thing that kept me going, and I wanted to encourage other athletes in Australia to do the same and to lift with me. And I think we've slowly seen that over the last few years, which is super exciting and something I'm really proud of as a team unit. So it wasn't something so much that was a deliberate mindset, but I think it just kind of came that way when results started flowing. And I couldn't be more proud to represent Australia. And I think the fact that we're all pushing through that time of uncertainty and lacking a few results, I think the fact that we keep pushing and we were the underdogs on the weekend, and we came through and weren't complacent, and we got the job done, and we strategized perfectly, and we knew what we had to do. Every one of us as individuals, as a part of a team, and I think that's just great for everyone else in Australia to kind of see that and to get motivated again, and to know that if the younger athletes coming through, if they push hard enough, they can be on a team like that in the future, and just keep pushing the results forward. And I think for so long, it's just been about like being the best Aussie, on the start line and beating your other Aussies and being the best Aussie on the day. But now we're really trying to change that narrative and wanting to be the best in the world and compete with the best in the world and lift everyone else in the meantime.
Yeah, it must have stung a bit when coming in as the underdogs to a world champs. That's not where Australia wanted to be, should be, right? They got the New Zealand team, the Swiss team that have podiumed the last couple of times, and Portugal, people talking about Hungary, even like ahead of Australia.
For sure. And I think that, like, I think everyone in Australia, with a bit of the tall poppy syndrome thrown in there as well, I think everyone loves an underdog in Australia, and um, we love to be in that position. And I think, backs against the wall, we knew everything needed to be perfect. And, potentially a few of the other teams, like on paper, yeah, they were stronger. But with strength, I think also comes a bit of complacency sometimes if you're not careful enough. And we definitely capitalized on other teams' mistakes, and we're able to get the job done. And we know that it's not going to be smooth sailing from here on in. We know that we still need to keep, cultivating the talent and experience in Australia racing. And there's going to be other teams that come at us from this point on into LA and fielding stronger teams and better guys and girls. But yeah, I think if we just keep that tenacity going, and to know that, like, anyone on their day can get the job done, like we showed in Hamburg. I think that's a really important step forward for us to know that, even just like the positivity of being in the fight and wanting to be in the fight and chasing for a medal. I think that has a lot to show, and gives a lot of strength and energy, because we were an energized unit, and even after the race, obviously even more so, we were bouncing off the walls. And I think, yeah, you couldn't wipe the smile off my face, honestly, being in that position, bringing everyone home, knowing that it was kind of well out of our grasp at the start, and we were aiming for a top five, maybe a podium, but a top five would have been, ticking the box result for us. So when I was on the bike, in that group of five, I was like, well, we've already ticked the box. We may as well circle the whole damn thing. So yeah, it was a pretty cool moment for us, for sure.
Is that the hardest you've worked in a mixed relay swim to date?
I think it didn't feel that way. It just felt like I just needed to.
It was a mission.
Yeah, it was a mission. I was an assassin, and I was just trying to, like, knock off as many people as possible and get to the front as quickly as possible. So for me, it didn't feel like it was the hardest thing. It was just like ticking one person off at a time. And once I caught up to Shonga in the swim, I sat on him. I went slightly past him. I made sure I hustled through T1 and consolidated the bike break. And yeah, it was just a matter of ticking boxes. And I knew that nothing was certain. And if I don't take every opportunity, we're going to be out of this race, with a 20-second deficit. So yeah, for me, it was definitely about just slowly ticking people off and then getting myself in that position. And then once I was in that bike pack and we had a solid group and we were working together relatively well, then yeah, I knew I could bring it home at the end. And if I played it smart enough, and poor Dorian, I was kind of clipping his heels a little bit towards the end there, but I knew I needed to make sure that no one else was going to kick over the top of me, and I knew I had that sprint finish, and I was feeling good from the day before, obviously. So yeah.
Doing it against someone like Dorian, who has a lethal kick as well, just leaving him in the dust.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. Like, before the race started, before our legs started, I kind of was joking to Dorian. I was like, "Oh, the first time, back in 2017 when I raced this mixed team relay, I remember getting out of the swim. I think it was just behind him and Ben Canute, maybe, or was it maybe, yeah, someone in the American team. And inexperienced 19-year-old, I hopped on the bike and they were gone with like a click of a finger, and I lost like 10, 15 seconds to them, and yeah, that was kind of our race. What I thought our race was done, until Jake kind of brought it back, and I slowly brought it back on the run as well. But yeah, and then he would kind of just joke like, "Oh, maybe the same will happen today." And then my girlfriend Georgia mentioned that in the post-race interview that him and Henry Graff were conspiring against me or something like that, or just wanted to make sure that I wasn't in that pack. And I thought that was quite funny that they didn't take that opportunity and I was able to get on. But yeah, a little bit of a cheeky joke with Dorian. He's such a great guy and such a great character, and obviously being an ex-world champion himself, he's he's been in many sprint finishes before and come out on top. So I knew I had to try and break him before the line.
So Sophie obviously kicked things off. Sophie Lynn, to all intents and purposes, I thought post Paris she'd kind of walked away from the sport, like was concentrating on her career. I was quite surprised to see her back anyway.
Yeah, credit to Sophie. I mean, she's always been a massive lover of the mixed team relay, even to the point where, I remember her saying to us as a collective before Paris, like, let's just get this individual done so we can focus on the relay. Let's just get through this so we can focus on doing the job for the team. So she's always been a massive team player, and credit to her. She's such a gritty athlete, and she definitely punches above her weight in terms of getting the most out of herself on the day. And I think that's what we saw from her over the weekend. And yeah, these conversations were being had, 6 months ago at the start of the year, strategizing around team composition and how it would look like in Hamburg. And we knew that we needed Sophie back due to her experience in big races like Paris, and how she competes as an athlete is quite inspiring. So we knew we had to get her on board, and credit to her, she bought in straight away, and she'd been in Boulder, her home, and she came over and raced Wells in Austria, and got a really good podium there. So that was good, like form indicator for her, and we knew that she was coming into Hamburg focused on the mixed team relay. So we knew that she had our backs, and we had hers. So yeah, these conversations were going on, months and months ago, about the team composition, how it would look. And I think the males were probably quite interchangeable. Like, I think anyone could have got the job done on the day in our male cohort, but I think the females, we definitely had to strategize, because we tend to see the females splitting up quite a bit, because there is a diverse range of abilities across the board. So for us, it was important to strategize that, and part of that was having Emma Jeffcoat there in the third leg, as kind of a obviously her swim bike is second to none in the girls, and just her tenacity to compete, and her aggression as well in the racing. We really benefit from that. So having that swim and being able to bring us back into the race was incredible, and even almost having a 3-person breakaway onto the bike was quite incredible to pull us into that position. And then to only lose 15-20 seconds to Cassandra on that run, which is who's a premier runner in the women's field at the moment. It was quite amazing to see her hold on and grit her teeth through it to put me in the best position possible.
Yeah, and great to see her just loving racing again, right? I know she's obviously been through quite a lot one way or another.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think as a cohort as well, like even our reserves, and like Brandon Copeland and Kira Hedgeland and all the other Aussies that came with us to Hamburg, I think they all wanted the same thing, and we celebrated as a cohort afterwards. We knew it was a team effort, and we couldn't have done it without each and every one of them. So to see everyone like appreciate the success and to celebrate that as a team, I think it goes a long way to the future and what we can do. All those interchangeable parts in the mixed team relay. Everyone serves their role and their purpose. So yeah, I think it's really important to celebrate as a cohort.
And even Dan Atkins peeled away from the action to give us a bit more. He's given some good little inputs.
Loves it. Yeah, one thing Dan does well, he does have the gift of the gab. He does speak very well, and he's a great motivator for us in our squad as a coach. And yeah, he was in tears, I think. So yeah, credit to him. He's a good man.
And a ringleader in the celebrations after. Ian O'Brien was obviously saying on Slow Twitch he's quite the karaoke master. Is that?
He is. Yeah, he is. He didn't join us for karaoke though, but Yokohama, after every Yokohama race, it's a staple for Dan. He is. He claims he's a world champion. I don't know how he's been crowned a world champion in karaoke before, but maybe that's self-proclaimed. I don't know, but yeah, he doesn't lack confidence on the stage, that's for sure, and in front of the mic.
Good man.
Yeah,
and all of this came obviously after the previous day and your stranglehold on the top of the series getting a bit tighter. Yeah, to be able to switch a silver for a gold and another 1,000 points in that general chase was another huge moment in the season for you.
For sure. And I knew like being that sprint distances are worth the same points, 1,000 maximum points as the Olympic distance races. I think that benefits me. I think I've definitely developed a lot over the Olympic distance racing over the last 4 or 5 years. But yeah, for me, sprint distances I know is a definite strength, and to have that finishing kick and that run speed as well, I think is really important to that, and something I've always had in my arsenal. So yeah, I knew I could hopefully. I knew that the win was probably the only option for me that weekend. I knew I definitely had to secure some points while I had the chance, and yeah, with only 3 races in the grand final, contributing to the overall score for the World Championship title, it's yeah, every race certainly counts, but yeah, I mean, you can definitely potentially have a situation where 2 athletes are only 100 points, apart from each other, and it's just whoever crosses the line first at Wollongong. So while it was super important for me to tick off that race and get another win on the board for points, it's definitely all still going to come down to Wollongong. Like we could have still 3 races in the season. We could have someone win all 3 races and then, go into the grand final with top points. So you just never know how things are going to play out. And credit to World Tri, I think they've strategically made that happen with holding some extra importance on the grand final, make sure it's exciting come that day in October.
Yeah, so that is you done now, is it, till the finals? Like no temptation no need to try and bag the third 1,000-pointer.
I've been tossing and turning. I think I'm still going to come over to France, and I'm going to race the race in French Riviera in Fréjus. I think it's still important for me to keep those race competitive juices flowing. I think it'll be to my detriment to just bang away and train at home for 2-3 months now and get bored and maybe yeah, I think it'll be a detriment to me. So I think to keep racing and to keep competitive on the world stage, and to potentially stop other people from getting maximum points leading to Wollongong, will serve a good purpose for my world championship hopes. So yeah, I'm definitely still going to head over, but it's nice to be home for this 5-6 week block and kind of settle back into life here and get a bit of training under my belt before, preparing for the last bit of the season. And I'll make sure I'm home, at least 4 or 5 weeks before the grand final to make sure I'm, prepping for that big important one.
Mm. So it could be an extended Europe trip with Carlo Vivari as well, could it?
Potentially, yeah, that's something we're looking at, but it just really depends on how the body pulls up. I'm potentially looking at racing a French Grand Prix as well in the middle of that in Quiberon. So yeah, there's a few things to be nailed down with the planning at the moment, and just to see how my body responds to these next few weeks of training and how I prepare for those races. And yeah, if I'm feeling good, I'll do it. And if not, I might just bite the bullet and better be safe than be sorry. So yeah, all things to be planned out. So I'm not giving too much away at the moment.
Fair enough. But
even though Hidalgo was like, Miguel said to me in Hamburg, he's like, oh yeah, you can do Fréjus, and just I'll do Carlo Vivari like that. So I was like, oh right, yeah, okay. You've bookmarked this, have you?
I guess the longer that run went on, or at least the opening K of that run went on, and he wasn't flying past as happened in Alghero, then you realised that it was you and Vasco, right? That was what it was boiling down to.
Yeah, I kind of knew from the start that historically Miguel has been an Olympic distance athlete, and he's performed really well over the Olympic distances. But then obviously you can't knock the confidence and energy that a win gives you. And I didn't want to underestimate that power that he would have held after Alghero. So yeah, I wasn't writing anything off, but I certainly knew that Vasco was going to be one of the strongest men on the day. So I knew it was going to come down to a run. And when I saw them get on my feet in that early stage of the swim, I knew it was going to be us all together in the bike. And luckily we were able to keep the other pack away and hold on. And make sure it was nice and safe for us around those wet corners. But yeah, I knew it was going to be down to a running race with Vasco, and I think from the start I knew that I had it in me, and I felt good. So I just wanted to time trial it from the start. I didn't want to be too tactical about it like I was in Yokohama and just sat on him for most of the run. I knew I had to try and break him early, and And, you know, credit to him, like when I saw him kind of stringing off the back, like around a few corners, and he'd get back on, and he's a tough little fighter. Vasco is, you know, yeah, it's amazing how what lengths he pushes his body. You know, because that's one of the hardest things when you're yo-yoing off someone and you're second guessing yourself and all these negative thoughts coming into your head. Like I've been there before for sure. So it's very easy in the moment to give up. But yeah, he stuck on me right until the end, and I knew with about a K and a half to go that it was gonna require a really big kick to kind of shake him. After I couldn't do that after the first lap, and thankfully I was able to do so.
Yeah, like you said, like keeping points away from other people. There was obviously, you know, Leo in 2022 having not won, or had he won in his career up to that? But no, he hadn't, had he? It wasn't just
No, I
that
don't think
season.
so.
It
That
was
was
his
his first
first.
win.
Yeah. So I'm sure that is something that is keeping Vasco very hungry as well. That
For sure. Yeah. And yeah, as I spoke about before with Miguel, like a win, like winning something does definitely give you that extra boost. And I think the longer we can stop Vasco from winning, the better it's going to be for everyone, to be honest. So, but no doubt, you know, credit to him. He is a fantastic athlete, and the win will come one day. I have no doubt about that. But yeah, if we can hold on a little bit longer, that'd be good for everyone.
and two good new faces in the form of like Alessio Crociani and Henry Graff kind of getting in right in the mix. We obviously saw Henry in Abu Dhabi doing good bits, and then yeah, him going off the front on that bike was quite something to start with. You know, it shows the sort of appetite he's got for taking it to the rest of the field as well. Yeah, just I guess as it was super wet out there, just intrigued, particularly obviously he came off on that last left before the straight into transition, didn't he? Like that was on the last lap as well. What
Yeah.
I mean, how careful have you got to be, particularly on that kind of corner? And when he came down, I guess you were a bit more towards the back, right? So that was your kind of safety net as well, but because that could have taken out a couple of people, right?
For sure. Yeah. Lucky he didn't take out many people, because yeah, that was a tough spot to be, especially in the last corner,
Mm.
like the last U-turn heading back into the straight. So, but I mean, credit to him, he got straight back on the bike and was within a couple of seconds of the pack by the time he got off the bike. So, yeah, you got to be really careful in those conditions. And I think, you know, luckily having raced Hamburg quite a few times over my career, I kind of know the lay of the land, and more often than not, it is a little bit wet and challenging conditions in Hamburg. So, yeah, I think we all played it really smart and obviously worked together to consolidate a smallish group, which was good to our advantage. I couldn't imagine being in that 20, 30 man strong uh, pack in the second pack. I think it would have been very hard for everyone in that pack firstly stay safe, but also to keep the pace on around the corners as it strings out. So it's definitely something you have to feel your way through. Like for me, I allow myself one or two laps to kind of get into the swing of things and to kind of to feel my way through the corners. And then after that, you know, I've got a fair bit of confidence that I can get through the course, you know, unscathed and pretty safely, you know, barring anyone else's mistakes. So, but yeah, to see Henry go down in the last lap, I think that was just a bit of adrenaline coming to the forefront, knowing that, you know, positioning through that chicane section in the old town there in Hamburg, it's yeah, it gets pretty hairy. So to be at the front's you know, pretty critical. As we saw, you know, Hayden do in 2023, like he won that from the last bit of that bike in transition. So knew it was important, and
That was
yeah,
probably
but
something that was going through Henry's mind at that
for
exact
sure.
moment.
Definitely. But yeah, him and Alessio, you know, really quality athletes and good young guys as well. And you know, it's probably the next phase in the evolution of the men's racing, I think, to have those guys that don't have many weaknesses across the board, like Henry and Crociani, like you know, leading out of the swim and then having one of the fastest runs at the end of the day, I think, you know, is pretty impressive. And you know, Alessio was able to do that, and yeah, there'll be great allies of the front group leading forward, I think, into LA, and you know, that aggressive racing from the front to try and diminish the legs of the guys coming from behind. I think that's yeah, it's an important thing, and it's a dynamic that makes the racing a lot more exciting. To see those guys committed and like very strong and you know, willing to take risks, albeit crashing at the same time. But willing to take risks for the glory of that front pack great breakaway is is an important thing that we need, I think.
Yeah. And a little kind of not insurance policy, but for when Alex and Hayden come back in, and that they're more soldiers to that front group, right? If they don't hit the front on the swim.
For sure. Yeah, as long as Alex stays, well away from the front pack, like he didn't in Paris.
Yeah.
I think it'll be good for everyone, I think. But yeah, I mean those guys are going to be quality from the moment they come back, and no doubt they're watching from the sidelines, seeing everything unfold and getting motivated and excited to return as well. So we'll welcome them back with open arms when the time comes.
For sure. What was the most satisfying sort of takeaway for you then from that race? I mean, running 30 seconds faster than Cantero and Hidalgo's got to be up there, presumably. That pace was phenomenal.
Yeah. I think I took a lot of confidence away from it, obviously. Not knowing too well how I'd pull up from altitude, obviously being my first stint up in Andorra and doing that kind of training stimulus. So I think for me that's a really positive sign, in this first year of the 4-year cycle into LA, like knowing that that preparation, does work, and it is a sprint distance, but hopefully that'll cross over into the Olympic distance as well. But I think just overall how I race really strong from the front, like even the bike, I was able to really work well and push hard, and it was some strong watts as well on the bike. Like I felt really good. Thankfully, the Andorra hills were not for nothing. So that was good to know. But and then also to have that strength on the run, to know that I can run that fast and then still finish that strong. I think we'll go a long way in the years to come to have that confidence in that ability. So a few little positives to take away, but certainly overall the weekend was really special for me and the team, and it was great to share that with everyone going into a bit of a break before the next races.
Yeah, some good riding out there in Andorra then, was it? And that will potentially, the hills there, you're going to want to do a Olympic distance before the finals, right? So that Carlo Vivari and the hill, and that's the testing ground, isn't it?
For sure. Yeah. Potentially as well. Like, I've heard great things about the city in Czech Republic there, and I think my girlfriend really wants to go as well. So it's a good tourist destination, and that's probably a bit of the sway to go and do it. So yeah, we'll definitely see, but it'll be good to get another one under my belt before Wollongong for sure.
All right, so yeah, out of Hamburg, halfway point, you've got 300-point lead over Miguel Hidalgo, about 430 over Vasco, and then it's Chonga 700 more points adrift, I think, from Vasco. So
yeah, should be good finish, but yeah, not counting the eggs before they hatch.
No,
not counting chickens before they hatch. So it'll be exciting finish to the end of the year. I think everyone will be going back to their home environments and training really hard, in preparation for those last few races. So I'm going to be doing the same, hopefully, and hopefully everything goes well and smooth sailing towards Wollongong.
Was it back to the hotel, dry off, and then watch the women's race in Hamburg as well?
Yeah, it was straight into recovery. I was kind of watching the women's race in drug testing, and then on the massage table as well after that. So it was all about getting the nutrition in and recovering well, because I knew I still had a job to do the next day. So I think I switched it on, and Lisa Tersch had like a 20-second breakaway gap on the bike, and I was like, this is the Henry Graff of the women's race at the moment. So it's just the power that Hamburg holds for German athletes. I think it's undeniable, and hopefully Wollongong can be the same for us Aussie athletes as well.
Yeah, I wonder if Lisa paid the price a bit for that lap, or there was Tizzy the week before as well, but obviously
eventually
saw her sort of having one of the slower runs, or the slowest of the top 10, but
by her lofty standards, I think. And then to see Leonie stride away for a country woman, Cassandra, is it was really impressive, and I think it's just goes to show her run prowess when she is in a good position, going on to that last leg. So yeah, credit to the French women again. They're showing that they're one of the strongest out there, and Beth, ever consistent in the podium as well. So, uh, yeah, it looked a bit hairy when there was like 40 a pack of 40 women rolling around on that sharp course. So yeah, is I think obviously Roxana and I believe the Colombian athlete as
Yeah.
well came down pretty heavily, and they're a bit battered up as well. So hopefully they're okay. And it's always sad to see crashes, let alone severe crashes like that one. So I think like Non had to like tourniquet at the arm. She was just there at the right time at the right place, and she had to literally tourniquet the Colombian athlete's arm as she
Yeah.
was bleeding from the finger. So yeah, it was quite a hectic scene. So yeah, hopefully they're okay now and can recover for the end of the year. But yeah, well wishes to them.
Yeah, for sure. No, we had a good chat with Roxana at lunchtime today as well. But yeah, so in the women's series, just to recap that, Beth top of the rankings, Leonie Perriot, Lisa Turch, Jeanne Leher, and only about 100 points separating them. Each, well, yeah, four different winners of four races so far, and Cassandra just
Great to
waiting in the
see.
wings when she adds to that two race tally. So
Potentially a little bit of a post-Olympic, post-World Championship hangover from Cassandra. It's probably one of the tougher things to do in the sport is to win, but then to keep winning. I think it's a tough thing, especially coming down from the high of winning at your home Olympics. So no doubt she'll continue to build back for the rest of the season. Yeah, the other girls have been super consistent. I think John has taken a leap in the right direction. She certainly had a breakthrough couple of years in the super tri racing, but then also in the world triathlon racing now, and racing more consistent than ever. So yeah, it's really strong at the top, and it's good to see a range of winners. As you said, 4 races, 4 winners. So that's quite incredible, and hopefully we can continue to see some close racing. Leading into the grand final at the end of the year.
yeah, well, congratulations once again on bringing them home, world champs once again. We look forward to seeing you in France. Then that is good news, and yeah, a good bit of training for you till we see you again on the blue carpet.
Back to work, mate. That's it. Yeah, I'll see you guys in France. Should be good. Enjoy it.
Right on. Thanks a lot, Matt. Take it easy.
Uh, Cheers.